Okay, hi y'all. I'm back, and you know, we. I just wanted to tell you how great it is here. Um, there is kind of a rumor because I sound sort of too happy and too sexual. So there's a rumor that I'm kind of a I might be a porn star, and that's how I make my living. I don't. I make my money off of stocks, okay, the stock market. So I'd appreciate if people would not start a rumor mill, even if I'm the one who just started it. That's not what I am about, and I never would be. I wouldn't do that for anybody. I care about myself and I love myself. I'm self centered, I'm grounded, and you really have to be out here because you're going to have to make choices between eating, living, sleeping, and you want to make it in a way that's not going to put you in jeopardy. So while I want to take a seasonal job. The obvious lesson there is try anything other than that. Okay, if you have the means to do so. Now, that's a part of every society, whether that society recognizes it or just ignores it. Um, it's a part of every society. Um, People might turn the other cheek on that one because they realize usually porn and prostitution is a is the it's usually the baseline of the society. So the poorer you are, that becomes your baseline and your the architectural structure of your society. The the more you're able to build up your infrastructure, you can have other types of work and workforce. So if you have a society that's able to vote and make decisions, then they know they have a say, or at least they have a say, at least in public opinion on the leadership that they get. And then that leader can in turn kind of do favors for the public that are aligned with things that the majority of the public want. Even sometimes they can do things that have been on the table for the minority people, but they can do those things and you can get some movement in terms of civil liberties, if you will. And that is the smartest thing because you can't always determine the winner, but you can determine which constituency will hear your plea, okay? So, and that is where you get your power from. That is where you get your might from. Because your agenda might actually be an agenda item that makes them popular. And they can keep going with that agenda. It doesn't mean they actually have to fulfill the promise. So, really, you have to look at the law, see what they've changed, and see if there is something within that law that actually helps you. Bingo bongo, you could have already had things. We just don't always read the law. And those laws that come out, they come out and they're like 1,000 pages, 5,000 pages, and it's a scary read to see what all the changes that are in the laws that come out, especially when it comes to a change in government to see what the new platform will be on budgeting and spending. So sometimes it benefits us to just kind of peruse through as quickly as we possibly can and then kind of gather like what's been given and what's been taken away. Um, Especially even on the state legislation side, because a lot of times you are in the win-win situation where as um, you have been put in a place where you're just on the edge of what is considered the good county kind of, you know, the good county in your state. um, and I don't believe in bad counties, good versus good counties, but you might be in a place where there's an advantage educational wise, or there's a tax advantage. So, what I gather is sometimes the state legislation, and your representatives, they vote to reorganize the population because sometimes somebody finds a house for sale or there's an estate house sale and it goes cheaper. So the manifestation of change comes about and there's an influx of people that are transient. I'm not talking homeless. I'm talking transient, meaning they move from area to area, but they have the dollars, or even if they don't, they make it into your neighborhood. So what the constituencies do is they make sure that they can either open up the map further, to combine resources. They realize there's a revenue stream there, or that there's infrastructure building, or they want to keep a mall open. If you wanted to keep a mall open and you didn't know how, redistribute the population that is allocated to the mall. That is actually exactly what people do. Right now, what I'm seeing when I travel is that there's a community that surrounds the stores, okay? And so you have this, where are we going to go? Where are we going to eat? And so there's a community that surrounds the store. So either the store is below the apartment, or the mall has an apartment condo complex and a whole bunch of them, and businesses. So it's B2B, and it has businesses, and it has consumers. So it doesn't have to worry about a government shutdown, because it's strategically located not just by the metro, but it's located in an area where there are residences. And so that helps a great deal. Okay, and so thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're the best. So you have a place where you can go, and you can basically be able to, have your favorite restaurant near you. You get to have your services near you, and that includes mail, that includes coffee. I consider coffee a service industry that's, could never be underrated in my estimate, along with some of the very lovely refresher shakes and ices that have helped me survive kind of the summer weather. Um, and I also just like a sweet or two, in the summer, and coming off of, that reluctant morning wake up call. So I think that's what, puts us in the mood. I need to be ready before the markets, um, and kind of have everything lined up, checking it, seeing what's going on, reading reading the New York Times, having a subscription to. I have to up my subscription, but I have a subscription. I had a slight money watch thing going on, and I've really been loving that. I've been listening to Bloomberg on the radio, and it's time for like Action Status to actually pour in, because we just want to make sure we always are tied in and have something to listen to. And sometimes I just listen to the commodities market, or I listen to somebody who's, in a football franchise. I look at the different things that are going on in the world, not because that's my first love, but because I know it's going to affect the businesses that are surrounding the industry. And so if your dollars are going towards sports, and it's NASCAR, whether it's gymnastics, or it's the, Olympics, or it's, ice skating for the winter, then the winter sports come in, or whether it's going to be something for, um, whatever comes on. Uh, for the summer, it's always tennis, 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 golf, golf, golf. And then they leisurely come into golf here. And actually, I think it's golf all the time, because it can be. And then it's, everything else is, dependent on, how the weather goes. So we have those types of things greatly affect other industries, including travel, gasoline, airline industries. Is when there's something going on, that's when people want to be there. That's when you make your bread and butter. And so a smaller, where as there used to be before, there used to be a smaller mom and pop's general store. That has been the keystone or cornerstone that people had to come into the market, make it their own, and do what they could do. Because sometimes it becomes the impetus to go to a small shop, small corner place. You know, in the morning it's breakfast, in the afternoon and towards evening, you know, it's, you know, they have a switch off and they actually close the stores down because there's just no one coming in at a certain time. They can revamp, restructure, and get on what they need to get on, and then they just have two sets of time frames. One for when people come in to get their kind of to do what I call like the pubbing hours, to do their happy hours, and then you have something else for people to come in and also eat. But then it's like neighbor to neighbor. There's familiars, and there's it's more like a gathering place. You go in the morning, and you realize there's people out there who have been up, you know, early in the morning. They fed their livestock. They have prepared the hay or the alfalfa, and and they're ready for it to be going to market and things like that. There's people out there who, you know, are donkey dealers, and they are ready to you know, they're ready to tell a lot of jokes about that person, but really the donkeys don't intimidate the horses. They have a similar build and everything, but they're great at protecting livestock and cattle and chattel from coyotes uh, and other apex predators. So that's why they're there, and they're cheaper. They're cheaper. They're going to, you know, it's just a real nice commodity to have in any place because they listen like hawks and they're ready to. They got quite a bite and a kick. So they're not called you know, JAs for nothing, right? So um, and this is it's, you know, you see this happening, you see the formality of it, and you know, I just can't tell you how much it feels so good to be able to visit different places. Here it's bucolic, of course, that's why I'm talking about it, but where I go is also bucolic. So and everywhere I go, there are beautiful places that have lovely waterfalls and things like that. Things you wouldn't even, you know, you wouldn't even think about. Um, it, there, you would look one section, especially when we went to Yellowstone, and there would just be a waterfall over here, a waterfall over there, um, and it would just make my day. Now, I never got my cowgirl hat quite crimped right, but I do recommend that you wear your hat and any sun protection, of course. Um, but that brings up the similar thing. People are trading. You know, they want to get their cows in. Some people are getting their chickens around this time, and some people because they'll be, you know, they'll be housed, they'll be safe, and they'll be in for the winter. That should have been had your shed, so you do all your buildings, and then you bring them in, and you have to be real careful. So I would just say be real careful with the kicks and electric and anything that you haven't, even anything you had low, bring it up high for the winter, so that there isn't a fire. As I think that was one of the saddest things I'd seen, is when the one of the cows had accidentally kicked back, and then there was a fire on one of the farms, and so that cow got a little bit burnt. So I think you have to, you know, look at, you know, this is a time where we look at what is happening, um, you know, with my, my little hut, you know, my little place, and we try to see what we want to do in terms of safety, how are we going to get out, things like that. So, um, it's going to be an interesting fall. But I would say, if you're like me, um, find your, make sure you check the date um, on your fire extinguisher. And I would also say make sure that you are really smart about what you store, where you store, and how you store it, and just double check everything. I bought a I went to Michael's. Yes, I'm not supposed to name the store, but I went to Michael's to get some labels. So hopefully that works out. And I'll relabel on my bins. And I hope you do the same. So stay safe out there. We'll still be in the stock market. And I hope you guys enjoy whatever you buy this fall. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.